Alhamdulillah, due to the fadl and the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have been granted the opportunity to sit and try to understand the kalam and the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in such a blessed month which is dedicated to the kalam of Allah. A virtue, a blessing, an opportunity that doesn't matter how grateful we are to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it will never suffice. Because to understand the actual words which emanated and came out from the Zat and the being of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a great honor. Alhamdulillah, for the past couple of weeks, those verses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have been discussed every weekend, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He Himself has taught us how to implore, how to plead to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And all those verses, they have one common factor, which is that they start with Rabbana, O my Lord. A simple translation, O my Allah. What I feel is quite important, I don't know if it has been discussed earlier. What does this Rabb mean? What is this Rabb? When we say Rabbana, O my Rabb, Ya Rabb, what is Rabb? Rather than saying it just out of parafashion or just mechanically and just saying it out of just because we know the word, we need to understand what it represents, what it means. Because if you have that mindset, and when we say Ya Rabb, the power behind it will be different, even though it's one word. The ulama have explained that the word Rabb, it is actually a meaning of rububiyyah. It is actually a root word from the meaning of rububiyyah. So what does rububiyyah mean? They have also explained, saying that rububiyyah is that thing here, tablighu shay ila kamali, shay'an fa shay'an. Something that takes and nurtures something else to its completion, to its perfection. So when we say Rabb, we refer to our Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as Rabb. We are saying, oh, that being who has nurtured and taken me from being incomplete to completion. Oh, that Creator who has taken me from being imperfect to perfection. And we just need to look into our own lives, where we were and what we were, and to where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken us. Say Rabbun Nas, He's the Rabb of the people. From something which were insignificant, a drop of water, to made us from the ashraful makhluqat, the best of creation, the most intelligent being that's walking on the face of this earth, the perfect creation. And He's not only the Rabb of us, Rabbus samawati wal ard, is also the nourisher, the nurturer, the creator from imperfection to perfection of the heavens and the earth. He's not just the Rabb of us, nor is just the Rabb of the samawat and the heavens and the earth, who is Rabbul Alameen. He's the Rabb, the nurturer, the nourisher of everything that exists. Everything that exists. So this is the mindset that we should have. That when we implore and we plead to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Ya Rabb, we say Rabbana, oh our Rabb, we should think this is my Creator who I am entirely, totally and completely dependent upon. Because every facet of my life, every portion of my life, every aspect of my life, it is that Rabb, it is that Allah who has taken me from nothing into the best of forms. So this common factor in each and every dua. Because dua is about humility. It's about completely annihilating ourselves in front of this Rabb. and beseeching and asking Him for every single one of our needs. And it is only then our du'as will have an effect in our lives. So out of the few du'as which have been allocated, the first du'a is when Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam and Hazrat Harun alayhi salatu wasalam, they implore and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're praying to Him and asking that, qala, and they both said, Rabbana innana nakhafu ay yafruta alayna aw yatgha. The very famous incident of Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, when he was instructed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, idhab anta wa akhuk, that you and your brother go to Fir'aun, go to the Pharaoh and invite him, call him towards Allah, call him towards. Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam was quite apprehensive. He had a slight fear, and he's bound to, because he was going to Fir'aun. He was going to Fir'aun. Although Musa alayhi salatu wasalam was a prophet, it was this natural fear that he had. And the instruction from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was, you go and debate with him, go speak to him, go and explain to him. Musa alayhi salatu wasalam was thinking, this instruction of Allah, before I even get to speak to him, Fir'aun is such a person, he shoots first, then he asks questions later. So I won't be able to even speak to him. So he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This fear, it was natural in him. And why shouldn't he be? Why shouldn't it be? Because who was he going to? He was going to Fir'aun. Just on the thought and the words of maybe some of his advisors, he massacred children. Young boys, baby boys, he massacred them. Just on the thought that he may be toppled, that he may lose his throne. This was the Fir'aun he was going to. And why was he going? To change a whole mindset, a system. Why was Allah sending him there? To revolutionize the whole mind frame that people were in. Because the system that Fir'aun had in place was just focused just around Fir'aun. It was a control system. It's interesting if you think about the shapes of the pyramids in Egypt, what the Egyptian built. He has a big base and very small. It's all focused towards one center. It's all focused towards Fir'aun, because everything else supported his system. Everything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, Inna Fir'auna wa Hamana wa junudahuma. This was his system. Fir'aun, the political, he was the one in power, the politics. Haman, he was the economical and the financial minister. Then was junudahuma, and the army, the military power, which allowed them to do what they want. Another component of his system was the Sahara, the magicians. The magicians, what did they do? They used to keep the people in awe. They used to keep the people bewildered, keep the people bewitched. Take away the attention from what they were doing. Trick the people. So all these, the magicians, the military, the finance and the economic side, they all supported one. They all supported one. And they've been living in this for years on end. And it was ingrained in the people that this is the system that we live in. This is what we need to follow. Centered towards this creation. The servitude and the subjugation to this creation. This man. That's why you'll find when Bani Israel and Musa alayhi salam saved them, they came to the sea. What did they say? Oh, Musa, what are you doing? You were going to get us killed. We'd rather go back. Because that system was ingrained in their life that they didn't want to change. They didn't want to move away from that. Because they were in it for so long. They wanted to go back to that system of control. But the system of Musa alayhi salatu wasalam and the system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it wasn't this system where it just supported one person. This triangular system, this pyramid of a system. It was turned on its head. It was turned on its head, where he came to take the people out from this subjugation, this slavery and this restriction, and take them out and liberate them. Because the deen of Allah and the truth liberates people, makes people free. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Rabbana wab'ath fihim rasulan minhum yatlu alayhim ayatika wa yu'allimuhumul kitaba wal hikmah wa yuzakkihim. So this is the mission of prophethood. This is the mission of prophethood, to serve, to teach, to educate, to purify, to raise, not to subjugate. Rahmatul lil alameen. The Prophet was a mercy to mankind. He came to serve mankind. Whereas the system of man is a self-centered one that just works towards one person, works towards a few people. That's why they will clash. That's why there was conflict, because of two different ideologies. Two different ideologies. One was to subjugate people and enslave them and restrict them through financial means, through force, through military means, through entertainment and bewitching them. And another one was to open the mind. It's just like Rib'i ibn Amir, when he went to Rustam, he was teaching this philosophy. When Rustam asked him, Ma ja'a bikum, why have you come? Why have you come? And he replied, the famous reply, Ibta'afana. We have been sent. Why? لِنُخْرِجَ الْعِبَادِ مِنْ عِبَادَةِ الْعِبَادِ إِلَى عِبَادَةِ اللَّهِ. And Rabi ibn Amir walked into the palace of Rustam with this philosophy of Allah, this ideology of Allah, that if there's anyone worth worshipping, if there anyone is worth being subservient to, it is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no king, no pharaoh, no leader. So we have been sent, لِنُخْرِجَ الْعِبَادِ مِنْ عِبَادَةِ الْعِبَادِ. We have been sent to free and emancipate and liberate mankind from the worship of a man to ibadatillah, to the worship of Allah. Min dikid dunya wa sa'atiha, from the restraint, the constraints and the limitations of this dunya to the vastness and the expansion of the akhirah. Wa min jawri al-adyan ila adli al-islam, from the restrictions of mentalities, ideologies, of philosophies to the justice of Islam. The justice of Islam. So this was a huge conflict. The task was a very enormous task that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was asking for Musa alayhi salatu wasalam to do. Because the system of Allah, when that comes, then the false and the pretense and this masquerade of a system of control will be taken over. Just like when Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, when he threw down his staff, it turned into a serpent. And the magicians, they did the same. But their serpent and their snake was a masquerade. It was a fake. It was just an illusion to distract and divulge the attention of the people. But when haqq came, when the truth came, when the system of Allah came, when Musa alayhi salam threw down his staff and turned into the serpent, and he gobbled up and it consumed all fake news, consumed all illusions, and the truth prevailed. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking Musa alayhi salatu wasalam that you go to this Fir'aun who has sent out an arrest warrant for you, who wants to kill you as soon as you are caught. One. Two, he's asking Musa alayhi salatu wasalam to go and revolutionize this mentality, this enslavement that people are in. Three, he's asking him to go to that Fir'aun who will not hesitate about taking a life. He will not hesitate about massacring people. So naturally, Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam will feel quite apprehensive, because this was going to be a turning point in history. This was going to be a revolutionary point in the life of people. So Musa alayhi salatu wasalam made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rabbana, that, oh Allah, oh my Rabb, oh that being who has nurtured me right from when I was about to be massacred, about to be killed by that very same Fir'aun, till now that you have made me a prophet and sending me to challenge this same Fir'aun, who have taken me from imperfection to perfection. Oh Rabb, I am afraid, we are afraid that he might retaliate before I even speak to him. Or even worse, that he may say something that is derogatory to you, O Allah. Something that might harm you, O Allah. Because he has already said these things. So this was dua of Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala consoles him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala consoles him. قَالَ لَا تَخَافَا. Why are you afraid? There's no need to be afraid. إِنَّنِي مَعَكُمَا. That I am with you. I am with you. Is he going to say something? Is he going to say something? If he says something in the debate that you may have, in the discussion that you may have, Asma, I am listening. I am listening to what he's saying. Are you afraid that he might do something to you? He might attack you? He might hurt you in any form or way, and in some way? And I am watching. There's no need to be afraid. There is no need to be afraid. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is instructing Musa alayhi salatu wasalam to go to Fir'aun, and he makes this dua. How many times have we been in a situation where we may feel that we are maybe slightly downtrodden, slightly we're on the back foot? No, we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Oh Allah, I am feeling quite apprehensive right now. Oh Allah, I am feeling that we are going to be taken over. Oh Allah, I am feeling that I am going to be hurt or affected in some way. Then we make this dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Oh Allah, then remember what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, that innani ma'akuma, that I am with you. There's nothing to be afraid of. So when we speak the truth, when we talk the truth, when we act on haqq, on truth, we should be brave, knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with us. So this huge task of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. And Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, he went and he fulfilled. And we know what happened in the story. And during times like this, maybe we need to go and speak to someone about our deen, to give dawah to someone and talk to someone. Then we might feel apprehensive. We might feel a bit scared. So we remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we try, we carry on, we move forward. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He also mentions in the next Rabbana. Because at times like this, we may feel that, me wearing my clothes is quite difficult, because people will mock me. Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam was mocked. Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam was taunted. But he carried on, he still moved forward. So we may feel in that manner. We might be in that situation. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the next Rabbana, He consoles us. In the next one, He talks about those people who are in Jahannam. And they will be saying, "Oh Allah, send us back. We will be good. We will try our best. We will change our life. will become better people. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will remind them that didn't you see those people who used to have faith in Allah? إِنَّهُ كَانَ فَرِيقٌ مِّنْ عِبَادِي يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا آمَنَّا فَاغْفِرْ لَنَا وَارْحَمْنَا وَأَنْتَ خَيْرُ الرَّاحِمِينَ. Do you not remember those people who came to you and who were there that said that they believed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You are saying you want to go back and you will believe. But you had that opportunity. You had that time. Don't you remember those believers? Don't you remember those believers who were there, that had the firm faith, who believed in Allah, and their reliance was only in Allah? They believed and trusted in Allah, although you were mocking them, although you were laughing at them, although you were teasing and taunting them. They stood firm. They stood firm and they were resilient in their faith. The Prophet sallallahu sahabi asked one of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Oh, give me some advice." The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Qul amantu billahi thumma istaqim." Say, I believe in Allah. Say, I believe in Allah. I have full faith in Allah. And thumma istaqim. And stay grounded, stay firm in what you believe. What you believe. Even though people are mocking the way we dress, even though people are mocking what we eat, even people mock the way we speak, what we do, how we worship, how we live our lives. But we need to be firm in our faith and in our iman. Be firm in our faith and iman. And these are the people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to. Annahum humul faizun. They are the successful ones. They are the ones who will be successful. Those who are firm in what they believe and they don't react. Somebody says something to us, but we stay firm in our faith. We don't compromise our deen. We don't leave our deen. So just because some people are laughing and mocking us, we stay firm. And on the other side, we are not reactionary. We don't react to each and everything they say. We don't react by fighting, arguing, or harming. Because the Prophet ﷺ has also said, لَيْسَ الشَّدِيدُ بِالسُّرْعَةِ إِنَّمَا الشَّدِيدُ مَا يَمْلِكُ نَفْسَهُ عِنْدَ الْغَضَبِ. That even though you might feel angry, even though you might be enraged, but you need to stay firm. Hazrat Musa ﷺ, while Fir'aun was saying he was afraid, he could have started a fight, but no, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, no, you speak to him kindly, nicely. You explain to him. You don't go enrage him. So we may feel that we are being mocked and taunted, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will have our time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will remind those people that now you want to go back, now you want to go and try again, but didn't you see my believers? Didn't you see those people who had faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they had complete reliance? They would ask me for forgiveness, they would ask me for mercy. So Allah ta'ala will remind those people about those people. Who are those people? That they would ask Allah. They would say, Rabbana, Amanna, oh Allah, we have brought faith. Faghfir lana, oh Allah, forgive us. Warhamna, wa anta khayrul rahimin. Oh Allah, forgive us. Have mercy on us. Because you are the greatest of those people who are merciful. So when we are we should need to be confident, not be involved in this inferiority complex that, in the media, in the news, in the world, the believers are targeted. No, we should be confident in our faith, have firm faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues, and then the next Rabbana that comes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when we do this, when we have this firm faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and complete reliance in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then what happens is, when we have this istiqamah, I'm trying to link with the next one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He talks about Ibadur Rahman. when we have the firm faith, when we have that resilience and be patient for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we will be classed amongst those people Allah ta'ala refers to as Ibadur Rahman, the servants of Allah of Allah the Merciful, the Kind, Ibadur Rahman. And in this Rabbana, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is listing the various different qualities that the Ibadur Rahman have. So number one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions approximately 12 to 13 qualities. And two of the next Rabbanas are the qualities of those people, of the Ibadur Rahman. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning, وَالَّذِينَ يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا اصْرِفْ عَنَّا عَذَابَ جَهَنَّمْ إِنَّ عَذَابَهَا كَانَ غَرَامًا. So the quality of those Ibadur Rahman, those people who are the true abds, true servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those people who are humble, يَمْشُونَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ هَوْنًا, even though they are classed as Ibadur Rahman, the close servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are still humble. They do not involve themselves in laghwa and talks and discussions that are not beneficial. They refrain from these things. They stand in the night and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is listing many qualities. One of them He lists is this. Those people who are the Ibadur Rahman are those who make this dua. They ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, "Oh Allah, save us from the punishment of Jahannam. Oh Allah, save us from this devastating punishment." Why? Because they're the humble people. Even though they offer their salah in the lateness of the night, even though they fast, even though they refrain from all kind of disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are still grounded. They don't lose sight of who they are. They don't lose sight of the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala either. So despite being so virtuous, despite being so righteous in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they still make the dua from protection from Jahannam. Because we need to understand that al-imanu bayna khawfi wa raja, that our faith is between fear and hope. Fear in the sense that if I do this action, I will be punished by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And not so much fear that we become despondent. That what is the point of acting? What is the point of being obedient to Allah? Because I will be punished anyway. And then there's between hope. We have hope that although I am sinful, although I have disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I have faith and hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive me. And not so much hope. Not so much hope that we think that it's okay, I can do as I please and Allah will forgive me one day. And you'll find in the glorious Quran many times, in many places, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He shows this and He explains this. By wherever He mentions Jannah, He will mention Jahannam. Wherever He mentions adhab, He'll mention forgiveness. Wherever He mentions punishment, He will mention relinquishment and emancipation from Jahannam. There is this balance. Wherever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions about forgiveness, He will mention about my punishment is also very Nabbi ibadi anni ana ghafurur rahim. Thou tell my servants, tell my worshippers that I am ghafurur rahim, that I am most forgiving, I am merciful and kind. But in the same sentence He also mentions wa inna adhabi adhabun alim, that inna adhabi huwal adhabul alim, that even my punishment, tell them that also, that my punishment is also severe. So we need to stay within a balance of fear and hope. Fear that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can punish me if He wills, and hope that yes, I may have sinned, I may have slipped, I may have made an error, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ever forgiving. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning the different lists of Ibadur Rahman. And the next quality Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions about the Ibadur Rahman is also another Rabbana. And this, the people who are Ibadur Rahman, the ones who are in servitude to Rahman, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we need to understand that being an abd, being a slave and a servant of Allah is a very high quality. Is the highest quality that one could actually attain. Because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has been referred to abd how many times? If there was anyone who was to receive, like in where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala meant, Alhamdulillahi alladhi anzala ala abdihi, Alhamdulillahi alladhi anzala ala abdihi, على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا. Praise be to the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has revealed the Kalam, the Quran, to whom? He could have mentioned any of the titles of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This huge, monumentous task is happening, that the Quran is being revealed to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have mentioned any of the titles. He could have mentioned Rahmatul lil Alameen, he could have mentioned Imamul Anbiya, he could have mentioned so many things. But here, at this time, in this juncture, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions which? The best quality of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Abdihi, upon his servant, is one who is completely given up to him. Like a servant, a slave, who gives up, he has no ownership. He doesn't even have ownership of himself. He doesn't have no ownership. So this is the highest quality one can achieve. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning the qualities of the abd, how to become an abd, what you need to be an abd. One is that you have this humility and always live in fear and hope. And the next, another one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions near the end is Rabbana hablana min azwajina wa dhurriyatina qurrata a'yuni waj'alna lil muttaqina imama. That those people who are abd, they make this dua also. They're not just thinking about themselves. They haven't got this pharaonic model that you just think about number one. You just think about number one. It's not about that. They think about everyone around them, that they make dua for their family, they make dua for the children, because they want that also. They also want the good for their family, their wives, their children. So those ibad, they also make this dua. Rabbana hablana min azwajina ذُرِّيَّاتِنَا قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ وَجَعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. That, O my Rabb, gift us, hablana, gift us. Those hiba, hadiyah, is those things that you receive without any expectation. Without any expectation, hablana, O Allah, gift us. Our hablana min azwajina, from our spouses, our wives, from our husband. وَذُرِّيَّاتِنَا, from our children and our progeny that is to come. Gift us what? قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ, the coolness of our eyes. The coolness of our eyes, the tears of joy from our eyes. The ulama explain that قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ, when a person دَمْعَةُ السُّرُورِ بَارِدَةً, they say that the tears of joy, tears of happiness are cool. So when a person experiences happiness and when they cry, they're usually cool. And what it means when you ask for this dua, that Allah give me the coolness of my eyes. When a person's child is born, people say, may Allah make this child the coolness of your eyes. What does it mean? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fill your life with joy. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fill your life with happiness. And what extent is this happiness? How much is this happiness? What are we asking for when you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this coolness of our eyes? This level? What is this level? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also mentions in the story of Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, when his mother put him in the river and the stream, because Fir'aun was coming on one side, his mother has this choice. What can I do? How can you imagine that decision that our mother needs to make? Just recently, how many mothers had to throw the children out of the building? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never put us in that position to make that choice. Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, his mother is there. She knows that Fir'aun and his army are coming. And the only choice she has is to put him in the river with no idea of where this river leads. No idea is what will happen to her child. The instinct of a mother being tested. The womb in Arabic is called rahm. It's from rahmah, mercy. It's innate, it's natural for a mother to have this inclination and this connection with a child. But she needs to make this difficult choice. And she did. She put him in the river. She let him go. But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, I'm just mentioning how much happiness this qurrata ayun means. How much happiness are we asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How much joy are we asking for? So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, فَرَجَعْنَاكَ إِلَىٰ أُمِّكَ كَيْ تَقَرَّ أَعْيُنُهَا. And when we returned you to your mother, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning to us Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, we returned you to your mother. Why? So that she can have qurrata a'yun. So she can have this qurrata a'yun, this coolness of her eyes. Can you imagine the joy she must have felt? Where she sent her child off thinking, don't know what's going to happen to him. And then she's reunited with her child. Then she's reunited with her child. Can you imagine the joy, the ecstasy, the feeling she must be feel? This is qurratu ayun. This level of joy. And we need to implore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this. Rabbana hab lana min azwajina wa dhurriyyatina qurrata ayun. This much joy. And we are in need of it more now than ever before. Because the system of control is breaking and tearing our families apart. Tearing our families, this family system, this unit apart. A father is not speaking to a son is not speaking to the father, mother and daughter separated, father and wife, husband and wife not talking to one another. They rather spend time outside than inside. They find more peace outside than inside the home. A time where the family unit is being torn apart. We need to unite this family. We need to bond. Fathers need to spend time with the sons. Quality time with the sons. Children need to spend time with the fathers and the mothers. Spend time with the family. Rather than being in one room, sitting next to each other, but in our own worlds. No idea, no consciousness about what's happening around. It's breaking our unit. So it's vital, more than ever before, that a father is not only a father, but he is a friend. A mother is not only a mother, she needs to be a mother. A father needs to be a father, there needs to be the authority, but they need to also be a friend. And a majestic for that, where we should reach, is that if the friends of a child say that, oh, come, we are going to go out now, come with us. And at that same point, at that same time, the father says, no, I will take you there. You don't need to go with your friends. The child says, no, I would like to go with my father. I would like to go with my father. Because a child should feel comfortable. A child should feel welcome. A child should feel loved with the father, wants to spend time in the company of the father. Those days have gone. Those days have gone. You know, when we were young, 20, 30 years ago, where it was just, yes sir, no sir, yes abaji, no abaji. We have come into a different time. We've come to a different time. We need to engage with our youngsters. We need to engage with our young people. We need to engage with our daughters and sons. Even husband and wife. Both spouses need to interact, communicate and talk, express words of love. Feel taboo to say that I love my wife, I love you, thank Jazakallah for what you have done. A wife, very difficult to say nice things. Very easy to find faults. Very easy to find. Umar radiallahu ta'ala an. What happened with his wife? Very famous. She would speak to him. A Sahabi came to the Umar radiallahu ta'ala an to complain about his wife. I don't know, I'll go there, speak to Hazrat Umar, he's Khalifa, Hazrat Umar, everybody's scared. The women were quite scared of Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala an. They'll hear his voice and they will run. They'll think, oh no, he's more stricter than the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So he came to the Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala, I'm going to go and complain about my wife, or she's like this, whatever. He went there and he hears Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala in his house. He can hear Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala and his wife. The same problem is here. Same problem is here. He's going. Then Hazrat Umar came out and he asked him, oh, what's wrong? Why did you come? He said, no, it's okay. No, you need to tell me. Because no, you got the same problem as me. Natter. Always going on. Because no. So it's not that. You have to think about all the good things that they do. They look after our children. They look after the home. They feed us, water us, wash our clothes, everything. It's only when they go to Mecca or they go to their mum's house we realize where we are. We're stuck. Don't know where my socks are, don't know where my clothes are, don't know what to eat. We need to realize how much of a blessing they are. This is Qurratu A'yun. Qurratu A'yun, that we work together, we live together, have this love and unity in the home. If it means we switch our phones off, we switch it off. We switch the internet off, we switch it off. Have a time where we're spending time with our parents. We're spending time with our mothers. We're spending time with our fathers and our children. It is vital. Because if we do not befriend our sons and our daughters, then there's so many friends out there, so many shayateen out there that would befriend them. So we need to be the ones who show the love of Islam, the love of the deen, the love of Allah. Nobody else is going to show that. Nobody else is going to show the love of Allah to our children. Nobody else is going to show the love of the deen of Allah to our children. Only we can do that. So here, this is another quality of the Ibadur Rahman. Those people who are close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That they make this dua, Rabbana hablana min azwajina wa dhurriyatina qurrata a'yuni waj'alna lil muttaqina imama. And the next thing, this dua is not just constrained to our life, but oh Allah, make me an imam of such a family lineage. Such a family, make me a leader of such, because we are the leaders of our family. Make me such a leader of my family that each and every single person in my progeny is a muttaqi. Each and every person is a muttaqi, is a friend and a close friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is the du'as of the Ibadur Rahman. So as well as dealing with the Fir'aun outside, the system, and being firm on the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, being firm and becoming this Ibadur Rahman through being firm, we also need to deal with the Fir'aun within. The Fir'aun within, which just targets, no, just think about number one. Just think about yourself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the next Rabbana, before that he mentions that the man and the iman, the believers are of three categories. Three categories. He mentions two extremes. One, sabiqum bil khairat, those people who are far ahead, advanced in good deeds and righteousness. They're so far advanced. The ulama explained they will have no reckoning. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to judge them. They will go to Jannah without hisab, without kitab. They will go straight to Jannah. Then he mentions the other extreme, zalimun li nafsi, those people who transgress themselves. And those people who are in the middle, muqtasid, wa minhum muqtasid, those people who are moderate in between. They have this, sometimes there's righteousness and sometimes there's sin. Sometimes there's good and sometimes there's bad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in another verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions here, all three will go into Jannah. All three will go into Jannah. Those who are sabiq, those people who are ahead and advanced without reckoning. Those people who are in between, 50 here, 50% here, 50% there, they will have an easy reckoning. Hisaba yasira, easy reckoning. And those people who are zalimun li nafsi, they will go also because of their tawbah, when they repent and they turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here, cut it short. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning these three categories of people, the different levels. One is nafsi ammara, the one that continues, the Fir'aun within our nafs, it continually and all the time tells us do this, do that evil, non-stop. Its natural state is that. Its natural state. It's an infantile and a state of childhood. Like a baby, when he wants something, when he needs to be fed, it cries. When he wants to drink something, it cries. When he needs to be cleaned, it cries. It's all centered around itself. You know, this pharaonic model, just about yourself. Just worried about yourself. And then as it grows, it realizes what's good and bad. As the child grows, he realizes this is right, this is wrong. Sometimes he will do the right thing, sometimes he will do the wrong thing. And as he matures, then he thinks, no, I need to make the right choices in my life all the time. The nafs is like this. But the state of the nafs is that it's always in a state of ammara. Its natural state is always looking towards bad and evil. It is when we train it and when we teach it and exercise it, it will go to the different levels. It's like if someone was presented with a glass of milk or a glass of water and was also given a glass of some fizzy pop or fizzy drink or a glass of Coke, which one will you choose? You will choose the Coke. I think unless you've got nafs mutma'inna. Unless you've got nafs mutma'inna, you'll choose the water. But you'll choose the Coke. Because it's just natural inclination to something which is a little bit more harmful for you. Which is harmful for you. Its natural state is that. Ammara. But it will change. The more we work on it, the more we try, it will work, it will become better. It will move to lawama, they will move to mutma'inna. And when people are in lawama, there's still hope for them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَآخَرُونَ اَعْتَرَفُوا بِذُنُوبِهِمْ وَخَلَطُوا عَمَلًا صَالِحًا وَآخَرَ سَيِّئًا عَسَى اللَّهُ أَن يَتُوبَ عَلَيْهِمْ. There will also be that group of people who own up to their sins. Say, Allah, I've sinned. I've made an error. I've made a mistake. They turn to Allah. They make tawbah to Allah. وَآخَرُونَ اعْتَرَفُوا بِذُنُوبِهِمْ خَلَطُوا. What did they used to do? They used to mix the good and bad. Sometimes they will have good actions. Sometimes they will have bad actions. They've got a mixture of everything. Why is it? Asallahu ayyatuba alayhim. There is hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive them, will turn towards them. And the ulama have explained, when asa comes with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, asa min Allahi wajibun. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says He will definitely, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says there's hope that Allah will turn to you, it means definitely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will turn to you. And then when they try, and then there's the dhal, nafsi ammara. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the three categories. Sabiqun bil khairat, then the muqtasid, those people who are in between, and then dhalimul li nafsi, those people who transgress the souls, those people who sin. The sinning is more. The sinning is more. Yeah, we've got just one more left after this one. Yeah, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also mentions the third category, the people who are sinning all the time. All the time they are sinning. And sometimes what shaitan does, he puts in your heart and mind that what's the point of asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness? Have you seen yourself? How much sin you've done? You are 30, 40 years old. All your life you've been disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you have the audacity to turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness? How dare you ask Allah for forgiveness? How dare you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? This is shaitan, he'll tell us. But what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say to us? Say, O Prophet of Allah, say to them, قُلْ يَا عِبَادِيَ الَّذِينَ أَسْرَفُوا عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ لَا تَقْنَطُوا مِنْ رَحْمَةِ اللَّهِ لَا تَقْنَطُوا مِنْ رَحْمَةِ اللَّهِ. O Prophet of Allah, tell my beloved servants, tell them that never become despondent in the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Never give up hope in the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How much have they sinned? How much have they sinned? Ya ibn Adam, لو بلغت ذنوبك عنان السماء ثم استغفرتني غفرت لك. O children of Adam, how much have you sinned? Has it reached the heavens? Has it reached the skies? Has it reached the clouds? Even if it reaches the clouds, even if it reaches the clouds. ثُمَّ اسْتَغْفَرْتَنِي. If you ask for forgiveness from me, غَفَرْتُ لَكَ, I will forgive you. How much have you sinned? يا ابن آدم لو أتيتني بقراب الأرض خطايا ثم لقيتني ولا تشرك بي شيئا. If you have come to me with so much sin, so much disobedience, that you fill the entire earth. You fill the entire earth. But you come to me. You come to me in a state of Iman. I will come to you with the earth full of forgiveness. I will come to you with the earth full of forgiveness. How much is your sin? 1,000,000, trillion, billion, octillion? How much? Inna Allah yaghfiru dhunuba jami'a. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who will forgive each and every single sin. Innahu huwal ghafurur rahim. So there is no scope. There is no room for despondency. There is no room to lose hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because it is our Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that wants to forgive us. It is our Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to give us a clean slate. It is just a matter of asking. It's just a matter of turning to Him. Just a matter of shedding a tear for Him. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning the three categories of people. We will definitely fall in one of them. But if we have Iman and we go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then what will we say? This is the next Rabbana. What will we say? وَقَالُوا الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ الَّذِي أَذْهَبَ عَنَّا الْحَزَنَ إِنَّ رَبَّنَا لَغَفُورٌ شَكُورٌ. That is, praise be to the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who was rid of us all this sorrow and grief. That inna Rabbana la ghafurun shakur. Verily our Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is most forgiving and most appreciative. Forgiving, why? Because those people who weren't as good, those people whose actions weren't as well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ghafur. And those people who are sabiqum bil khairat, those people who are righteous, whose disobedience were at a very minimum, they will say, well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is shakur. He appreciated our efforts. He appreciated our exertion in following the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then, once we reach that stage, so we're saying that once we become Ibadur Rahman, the people who are firm on the deen of Allah, who have istiqamah, and then they push away all the mocking, the taunts, they still stay firm. And they ask, and they become Ibadur Rahman by asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not only for themselves, not only to protect themselves from Jahannam, but also their family, their friends, and their progeny. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then when we go to Jannah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala we will say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Ghafoor. We come in any of these categories, we go to Jannah. And once we become this Ibadur Rahman, not only will we make dua for ourselves, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make the Hamalatul Arsh, the angels who are carrying the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make dua for us as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the next Rabbana He mentions, the last one, that the angels who hold the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there's 4 angels on the day of Qiyam, Yawma idhin thamaniya. There'll be 8 on the day of Qiyamah. Some ulama have also mentioned there are several 100,000 who hold the arsh and the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And those angels will make dua for these people. رَبَّنَا وَسِيَتْ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ رَحْمَةً وَعِلْمًا فَاغْفِرْ لِلَّذِينَ تَابُوا وَاتَّبَعُوا سَبِيلَكَ وَقِهِمْ عَذَابَ الْجَحِيمِ رَبَّنَا أَدْخِلْهُمْ جَنَّاتِ عَدْنٍ الَّتِي وَعَدتَّهُمْ وَمَنْ صَلَحَ مِنْ آبَائِهِمْ وَأَزْوَاجِهِمْ وَذُرِّيَّاتِهِمْ. The angels will be making this dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The angels that carry the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make this dua, saying, oh Allah, You are the one who encompasses and encapsulates. Your mercy, your rahmah covers everything. All the sins of the people are nothing in comparison to your rahmah. The disobedience of your servants is nothing in comparison to your mercy. And your knowledge encompasses everything. What they have done, what they have said, what they will aspire to do. Your knowledge encompasses everything. So Allah, forgive them. Forgive them. Your mercy is far more. Forgive who? Those people who turn to you, who have that remorse, who refrain, who have this regret in their lives. And they are firm. وَاتَّبَعُوا سَبِيلَكَ. They are firm. وَقِهِمْ عَذَابُ النَّارِ. Allah save them from Jahannam. Not only them, enter their parents, enter their children, enter their spouses into Jannah, which you have promised them. So as long as they are firm on their deen. So as long as they are firm on their deen. So this is what we need to do. What we need to do is become in this bracket of people. The people of Ibad, the Ibadur Rahman, become the true servants. Become the people of Tawbah, the people who turn to Allah. Then not only will Allah's mercy and help descend upon us, not only will the angels make dua for us, but then the sukoon, the tranquility will enter our homes. So we need to become the people of Tawbah. And 4 things we need to remember. The 4 R's. Number 1, to become a taib, tawbatun nasuha, become a person of Tawbah, we need to remember 4 things. The 4 R's. Number 1, R for refrain. We refrain from any disobedience. Doesn't matter how much we've done. We have hope in the forgiveness of Allah. We have fear of the punishment of Allah, but then we refrain. That will give us strength to refrain from any disobedience. We refrain from sin. Then second R, we are remorseful. We regret what we have done. That what I have done is disobedience of Allah. That Allah who looks after me. That Allah who feeds me. That Allah who is my Rabb, who took me from imperfection to perfection. From incompletion to completion. So we have that, first we have refrain. We refrain from the sin. We be remorseful of what we have done. And then we have a resolution. Firm resolution. Firm intention that I will never do this again. I will never do this again. And I try my best. I put everything in place to stay away from that sin. Whatever that sin may be. I put things in place. If we slip, it's okay. We make that resolution again. And the 4th one, if my disobedience is in relation to someone else, a hukukul ibad, then we reconcile. We make amends. We ask for forgiveness. If I owe something to someone, we return it. If I have been awful or mean and harsh to someone, I ask for forgiveness and I try to make amends. And then we'll become from those taibun. At-taibu min adh-dhanbi kaman la dhanba la. Then no sin will remain. Will be only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these were the 4, the Rabbanas that we mentioned. I tried to link them together. Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, even though there was fear. How much fear is in the world today? How much fear do we experience in this world today? Even though there was fear, he still had faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Still had faith. Then, even though he was mocked, even though he was taunted, he carried on. Because on the day of Qiyamah, they will be questioned by Allah. That they came to you, you know of them, you taunted, you laughed at them. Then we moved, that when we do that, and we'll be classed amongst the Ibadur Rahman. And how we become the Ibadur Rahman? We stay humble, between fear and hope. We have fear in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then, not only do we concentrate on ourselves, it's not only about nafsi. We don't worry about just ourselves. Nafsi, before we used to translate it as ourself, myself. But nowadays we've got a very good translation for nafsi. It's selfie. Selfie. A time where everyone, if anybody's going to take a picture, it has to be of me. If anybody wants to know what I've eaten, it means to me what I've eaten. If anybody needs to know where I've been on holiday, it needs to be about my holiday. If anybody needs to know about what's happening in my home, it's my home. If anybody needs to know what's happening, what I've done in the toilet, it needs to be my toilet. It's all about nafsi, nafsi, selfie, selfie. That's what it's become. And this is the pharaonic model. This is the model of Fir'aun, where it just moves towards one person. It just moves towards one being. That's myself. Myself. Nafsi, nafsi. So we need to move away from this and turn this model on its head and make it a model of truth and give. It's about giving out. Okay? And then ultimately, when we become the ta'ib, when we become the people of ibad, not only will we make dua for ourselves, not only will the people will make dua for us, but even the hamalatul arsh, the angels of the arsh, will also make dua for us. We should strive. And that's all Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks for. We just strive, try our best. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not ask us on the day of Qiyamah that why are you not a muttaqi? Why haven't you become an awliya of Allah? I gave you the time. Why? No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to ask, have you tried? Did you try? Did you even exert any effort to become my close friend? And when we do try, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He Himself says, وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. If they try and they strive and they struggle, then we will show them the way. We will show them the way to us. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. جزاك الله خيرا.
This talk was part of a series of talks organized by the Muslims across the weekends of Ramadan.